Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight in today, uh, pulling out the top 5 AI stories hitting the wires for Wednesday, November 12th, 2025.
That's right. And just a heads up for you, this entire deep dive, we're calling it AI Daily Deep Dive, was actually researched and put together entirely using AI.
Which is fitting, I suppose.
Huh, yeah. And looking at today's news, it's a story of huge money flowing in, but also some serious legal and ethical pushback happening at the same time.
Okay, let's start with the money then, because this first one is massive. Anthropic, they make the Claude models, announced a, what, $50 billion investment?
50 billion. Yeah, to build their own custom data centers right here in the U.S.
That's a huge amount, more than just expanding, right? It feels different.
Oh, it's definitely strategic. Until now, mostly they've rented compute power from the big cloud providers, AWS, Microsoft Azure.
Right.
So this $50 billion plan, they're doing it with an infrastructure company called FluidStack. It's really about independence. They're building out own sites, starting in Texas and New York.
And why now? What's the thinking?
Well, seems like a few things. Controlling costs, for one, guaranteeing they have the sheer compute power they need for, like, next-gen models, and keeping that key infrastructure on U.S. soil. That lines up with government policy.
Makes sense. Any word on jobs?
Yeah, they're projecting thousands of construction jobs, plus about 800 permanent tech roles starting in 2026. So a big domestic investment.
Okay, so massive investment in the engine, the compute. But story number 2 shifts to the fuel, the data. OpenAI is in court.
Yep, big legal clash. They've filed a motion trying to block an order that would force them to hand over something like 20 million ChatGPT conversation logs.
20 million, wow. And this is for that copyright lawsuit from the New York Times and other media companies?
Exactly. OpenAI's argument is, look, this is a massive fishing expedition. They're saying it goes way too far, exposes really personal user info, and isn't even that relevant to the specific copyright claims.
But the media outlets, the plaintiffs, they must have a counter-argument for needing that much data.
Oh, they do. They say they need the logs, first, to actually check if ChatGPT is spitting out their copyrighted stuff verbatim.
Okay, verification.
And second, and this is key, they need it to fight back against OpenAI's claim that the evidence they already have was obtained because they essentially hacked the model.
What does hacked mean here? Like breaking in?
Not quite breaking in. OpenAI sort of uses hacked to imply the plaintiffs used really specific, tricky prompts, adversarial prompts, designed to force the model to reproduce text it wouldn't normally. They claim it's not how real users interact with it.
So the logs could show whether that's true or not.
That's the plaintiff's argument, yeah. They want to show normal use can also generate this stuff.
Okay, shifting gears from legal battles over data to ethical safeguards. Story 3, the UK government is bringing in new legislation.
Yeah, this is serious. It's aimed specifically at stopping AI models from being used to create synthetic child sexual abuse material, or CSAM.
That sounds incredibly important and sadly necessary.
It really is. The Internet Watch Foundation, the IWF, reported that actionable cases involving AI-generated CNAND more than doubled in just 1 year. And, alarmingly, a big spike in images depicting infants.
Horrifying. So what does the new law actually do?
It's an amendment to their crime and policing bill. Basically, it gives legal protection to designated AI developers and specialist groups, like the IWF, allowing them to actively probe and test models for these kinds of safety weaknesses without facing criminal charges themselves.
So they can stress test the models legally.
Exactly. It's a crucial step for safety auditing. They need to be able to find the flaws without breaking the law in the process.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, let's move to something a bit different, AI and creativity and how people perceive it. Story 4 is about AI music.
Yeah, this global survey by Ipsos for Deezer is pretty startling. They found 97%, almost everyone across 8 countries, couldn't reliably tell the difference between AI-generated songs and ones made by humans.
97%. So the AI music is basically undetectable to the average listener.
Seems like it, yeah. But here's the interesting part. Even though they couldn't tell the difference, people had really strong feelings about transparency.
Like what?
They want clear labels on AI tracks, they want options to filter them out if they choose, and they want to know if a recommendation system is pushing synthetic music at them.
So demand for honesty, even if the product itself is convincing.
Precisely. And it's not a niche thing anymore. Deezer says about a third of all the songs uploaded to their platform daily are now AI created.
A third. Wow. Okay, final story. Back to the world of startups and venture capital. Former Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal.
He's back. His new AI startup, Parallel Web Systems, just closed a $100 million Series A funding round.
$100 million Series A, that's significant.
Oh,
That's the valuation around, what, $740 million?
roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
And what they're building is quite interesting. It's search infrastructure, but it's not designed for you or me to use directly.
Not for humans, then who?
It's tailored specifically for AI agents. Think large language models that need reliable, up-to-the-minute access to web data.
Okay, so search for AIs. Why is that needed? Don't they just browse the web?
Well, browsing is messy and can lead to hallucinations, the AI making stuff up. Parallel Web Systems APIs take online content and restructure it into these optimized tokens.
Tokens, explain that a bit.
Think of tokens as like pre-digested structured pieces of information. It makes it much cleaner and more efficient for the AI models to process the data. It cuts down on errors, reduces hallucinations, and it lowers the cost of actually running the AI queries, what they call inference costs.
So it makes AI more reliable and cheaper when using web data.
That's the goal. And they're using that funding partly for R&D, but also, crucially, to negotiate content deals. Because getting access to web data is getting harder with all the anti-scraping measures websites are putting up.
Got it. So, quite a day. We went from Anthropic spending $50 billion on physical data centers.
All the way to a $740 million startup building a new kind of search engine just for AIs to consume data more efficiently.
It really highlights this core tension, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You've got this massive push,
Yeah.
billions pouring into building the infrastructure, the compute power.
While at the exact same time.
The actual stuff that fuels it, all the data, the content is being fought over in courtrooms and debated by lawmakers, which I think leaves a pretty critical question for you to think about. What actually happens when our ability to build the processing power, the sheer scale of AI compute, starts to seriously outrun our ability to figure out the rules for the data it needs?